How to be a successful artist. Let's get started.
Mackenzie here, your watercolor coach. I'm here on a December day. It's soon going to be my birthday and then Christmas, and then of course the new year. And that always gives me a chance to reflect on what just happened. What just happened in 2019. Maybe you get reflective as well. So for me, 2019 was my worst year for sales ever since becoming an artist. I became a full-time artist in the year 2013. 2013 through 2015 were the heyday for me. It was just easy to make sales. I was doing pet portraits and they were flying out of here. I always say the pets taught me how to paint, and they really did. I am very grateful to them and to the people who supported me during that time. But this is now 2019, soon going to be 2020. And for me, my sales were really dismal this year. And so I thought, what does it mean? That always brings up for me, what does it mean to be successful as an artist? And maybe you ask yourself these questions too. So I went to YouTube and looked at, what could I be doing differently on my YouTube channel or Facebook or Instagram, all those things. And I'm basically doing what I'm supposed to be doing. So I thought, all right, well, what else? So I asked on my Facebook page, how had the year 2019 been for other people who are either collectors or artists who follow me or are friendly with me. And it turned out that for most people, the year had been very similar to mine. And I'll show it this way in terms of performance. Whenever you take a sampling of any kind, you develop a bell curve. And the bell curve meaning that you're going to have outliers on both sides. People who perform less well and people who perform better. But for the most part, most of us fall within the norm of the bell curve, meaning most of the population falls in here. And I found that for me, indeed, in making comparisons with people who were willing to share and be honest, was, yeah, we're all in the same place. Everybody's trying the best that they can to sell art, and it is definitely harder now than it was in past years. There are many reasons for this, and we've talked about it before on our channel, and we'll talk about it again. But I wanted to be really, really real about it, because if you go on YouTube, for example, you're going to find lots of places that tell you things you can do that will increase your art sales. And I would say maybe they're right, but I would also say I do all those things. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to have better art sales. I mean, there's something beyond what we do individually that's happening to our culture and to our economics that has nothing to do with how well we paint in our studio or how well we manage our social media stuff. And I think it's important to remember that. I am forever grateful. I'm so grateful for all of you who have subscribed to this channel and are currently watching this, because although I love painting and I would paint anyway, I do find having an audience for my work really is what sustains me. And the audience are you, people who leave me comments or thumbs up, or I can see in the statistics that it was even watched. And I can't tell you how much of a fuel that is to my fire to make me think about the next day. What do I want to do? What do I want to paint? And to have a purpose, a real purpose to my art as well, which is the sharing. I've really enjoyed this year. Yes, it's been the worst sales for me, but it was the best painting year I ever had. I did the best paintings that I ever did, and I conquered my fear of painting heads, and which was a real ball and chain for me. I was afraid of doing it, but I faced it head on, and I'm having a really good time with it. But the encouragement of knowing that people were following me and were watching my progress in this, I probably would have kept going. I probably would have, but I just felt more like I was in it with everybody, and that everybody was in it with me. And that's really the purpose of my little YouTube channel here, my sharing on Facebook, Instagram, my newsletter, the website, all that stuff. Yes, I like to sell things. Yes, I like to get better at the craft. But what would really be missing for me was if I wasn't sharing it. If I wasn't sharing it, it would be somewhat of an empty endeavor for me. And that may not be true for everybody, but it definitely is true for me. So satisfaction made me think about satisfaction as an artist for me is that you get better at doing the thing, this painting thing or whatever you're engaged in creatively, that you get better at doing it over time based on your own criteria and how you feel about your work. And also the other great satisfaction and success of being an artist is if you can wake up in the morning and decide that you want to paint what you want to paint. which is very disengaging from sales, which is a different thing. And I tend to teeter-totter between those two things. And sometimes I lose my balance a little bit, and I have to remember not to. And here was a way that I'll tell you, which was somewhat humorous, of course shows me in a bad light. My story is always showing me in a bad light. So here's what happens. I'm thinking about YouTube and Facebook and, how do I get my numbers up and, get the word out there, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just, the email comes in, and I don't even remember what the source was. It wasn't a source that I knew of at all. But it said, do you know what your rating is? And I thought, what are they talking about? This wasn't Facebook or Instagram or any YouTube or any of those things that send you statistics that tell you, where you rank and stuff. It's just this random thing. And it comes up in the body of the email. And in the body of the email, there's a circle. And it says, I think it had something like your financials. It had a check. I had no outstanding warrants or criminal record was the next part of it. I don't remember what the rest of the whole circle was. I had 4 criterion, and my overall rating was good. And I thought, that's it. That is it in a nutshell. A place I don't know anything about at all, through some sort of algorithm that I don't know anything about at all, has sent me an email to tell me that I'm good. I'm good. They don't know me. They know nothing about me. And I thought, and I'm sitting here thinking that matters, that where that came from matters, that I'm good. And I thought, no, before that came in the email, I was feeling pretty good anyway. I'm good. I didn't need some algorithm to tell me whether or not I was good. And I thought, Joe, that's the lesson here, which was sort of zooming over my head, thank you so much for the comments and joining my little YouTube channel and joining me on Facebook and the newsletter and all that stuff. It means a real lot to me. I don't mean to diminish it in any way. But basically, as an artist or a creative person, you have to feel that you're basically good. Not looking for an outside affirmation for that, because it will skew what's coming up from you in a really organic and honest way. And it's just funny that this is how I seem to learn life lessons. I'll struggle with something going on in my head, something big and conceptual, like my worth as an artist, or like I was saying, self-esteem, in general, and the criterion of whether or not I'm a success. And then this random thing comes along, and suddenly the light bulb goes on over my head, and I said, really? Really? You're looking for an outside algorithm to tell you whether or not you're good enough? And I said, yeah, and that's what I'm doing when I get on Facebook or social sharing or any of that kind of stuff. And I said, oh, thank you for once again teaching me a lesson that I need to learn. Tend to need to learn it in a cyclical way, but it came at the right time and it hit me in the right way. I thought it was funny and I wanted to share it with you. But mostly what I wanted to say is thank you so much for joining me on my YouTube channel and all my endeavors. It just means so much. I can't tell you, because it just makes this whole thing fun. And otherwise, I think it would be quite lonely. So remember to keep the whites of your paper white, your paints wet, mass for value, mix for color, and believe me, you're good. You are good to go. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye.